Okay, so what you're going to do before you take down your old cabinets, and I'm doing this in the laundry room because I'm not worried about messing this wall up, because we're going to replace these cabinets eventually. So buy a nice long piece of straight wood. Doesn't matter what it is, just something light, something that's not really expensive, but it's got to be straight. What you're going to do is you're going to screw that in underneath your cabinets. So can you see under the cabinets here? You're going to screw it in underneath the cabinets, so that way when you remove these cabinets and install your new cabinets, you can just sit them on top of this and it'll be straight, assuming your existing cabinets are straight. Okay, go ahead and hit record. Alright, so the next thing that you're going to do is, and this you can do after you get your cabinets down, it's going to seem kind of weird, but get some nails. These are 2-inch 6D nails, and it doesn't really matter, because we're going to redo all this anyway. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the nails in to find the center of your stud. You can find the center of the stud, you can find your stud with the stud finder, but the nail allows you to find the center of the stud, and then once it's there, you can pull these other ones out. That's the center of a stud. You're going to do that wherever you have a stud to ensure, because when you screw your cabinets in, you want the screws to be in the center of the stud for the best hold. You don't want to split the stud a little bit. And then you can take this line or this nail and you can make a line so that you know where the center of the stud is. Take the nail out. Of course, it has no head. Then you can run a level up to the ceiling. If you have a 6-foot level, you run it all the way up and you can just trace that line all the way up where your cabinets were, so you know where the studs are. Also, what you're going to want to do, this one's not got it. They make a special screw when you have two spots where cabinets come together, or two cabinets come together. When you get your cabinets installed, don't put them super tight yet, just kind of loosely install them. Put a clamp across here. Your doors will be off, your shelves will be out. Don't try to hang your cabinets with all that stuff installed. Put a clamp here to pull those together, and then run those screws in. So these I did with Phillips screws because it's the laundry room, I didn't care. But they do make a special screw with a square tip for joining your two cabinets together. Then you can tighten everything up once you have them these tight. Then put your cabinets tight against the wall. Okay, so while we're talking about screws, this screw is what they sell to install cabinets with. So make sure when you go buy screws, you buy the correct screws, because these really go in well. So let's say your cabinets are short, your new cabinets are taller than your old cabinets. As you follow your studs up, you'll have to maybe trace it out with blue painter's tape to make sure you know exactly where your cabinets are going to go and where you're going to put your holes through your cabinets to screw them in. Because you have to make sure that there's a stud there. Let's say there's no stud. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to cut the sheetrock out in that spot. Don't use a sheetrock saw. Use a razor blade, because you don't know what's behind there. If you use a saw, you could hit a PVC pipe or an electric cord. So once you expose those studs that you need to expose, take a 2x4 and lay it sideways in between those studs, even with the front face of the stud, and just pre-drill a couple of holes at angles to toenail using nice long, not your cabinet screws, but just a long standard Phillips screw, and screw that 2x4 in the corners to fit in between the existing 2x4s so that you have some place to screw your cabinet into. And don't worry about your sheetrock, because once you put your sheetrock back on, you're going to put cabinets over the top of it, so you're not going to care. So if you have any questions beyond that, let me know. Just make sure that you know when you put a cabinet screw in, you're hitting a stud. Make sure that it's in the proper spot on the cabinet, not on the loose back, but at the bottom and top where there's reinforcement in the cabinet. Install it with the doors and the shelves out so it's easier to handle. Just set it on there. When you're all done, you take that board back off and then patch your holes and repaint, or backsplash with tile, however you want to do it. Let me know if you need help.